Hi everyone, my name is Grace Giacomo and I will be talking about artificial blood vessels today. So the blood vessel I will be focusing on is the femoral artery in the average adult male. Blood vessels actually contain very certain materialistic properties that man can't exactly create. They can make it as close as possible, which we use polymer. Polymers are widely used for synthetic grafts because they are able to stretch and so that when blood flows through it and it needs to, it keeps pushing the blood through by uh, opening up. And that's why elastic modulus is so important in blood vessels, is if it has a high elastic modulus, it'll be able to deform enough, but not permanently deform, but be able to go back to its original shape. And that's why in blood vessels that's really important. These values I found from reading an article on Science Direct, and they gave a lot of different values for these, and I found the averages to make my first property, which is all those numbers were my first property for my first material for this study. So for the parameters of my blood vessel, I was already provided the lengths of the vessel, but I did some research and found the diameter of a femoral artery in an average adult male, which was 9 millimeters. The thickness of the artery I found to be 0.8 millimeters as well, and all of these are just for average adult males, and I'm focusing on the femoral artery. My inlet volume flow I found to be 5.83 times 10 to the negative 6 meters cubed per second. This is an average flow for the femoral artery, and I will be talking on later about the worst case scenario, but I will be using for that a flow rate of 2.915 times 10 to the negative 5 meters cubed per second. I have my diameters and my thickness on this SolidWorks drawing, and this is just for the 10 millimeter. I also have a 100 millimeter and a 1 millimeter. So for my simulations, I first start with a flow simulation, and that is where I put parameters of the inlet volume flow going through one side, and then the environmental pressure on the other side. And then after I let this run, I also put the non-Newtonian liquid blood so that it can represent as closely as possible to the human body, as well as putting in an environmental temperature of 37 degrees Celsius. So for my static simulation parameters, I put a fixed geometry on both sides of the vessel so that it can't move, the internal pressure on the inside of the vessel, and then I set the global parameters to find max pressure and average pressure for the whole vessel. And then for my worst case scenario here, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. So for our worst case scenario, it's going to be 5 times the flow rate, which I found to be what our body goes through when we start exercising and start moving. Our blood flow will increase to about 3 to 4 times our average blood flow. And that will be, when I'm doing that simulation, the only thing will change will be the flow. Everything else will be the same. The environmental pressure and all the parameters are going to be the same, just the flow is going to change. So for my results, none of the materials failed, which is good. That means none of my materials didn't have any properties that wouldn't be able to exist in the human body, and it wouldn't be able to handle blood flow of my flow rates. The best material I found was material 1 because it had the least deformation, or the lowest displacement, and it held under stress. The reason that lowest displacement is good is that we want to have a blood vessel that can move with the blood and open up and close without permanently deforming. And that's why an elastic modulus is such an important parameter for this kind of study. My worst case had higher values for displacement and stress and strain, but there were no failures. So I think that's a pretty good result, because even though it was a high flow, it didn't change my simulation at all. So for cost comparison, so I could not find exact pricing, but my materials were based off of polyethylene terephthalate, polytrifluoroethylene, and polyurethane. So the first one was the polyethylene terephthalate, which was a 725 per metric ton, which was the cheapest. The others are a little bit more expensive. Now, I decided that the first material will be the one I choose for my future designs because it's cost efficient, it works well in the body, and it has the ability to withstand high stress as well as having a low displacement. And here are my references. Thank you. Have a great day.